Okay, recording has started. Okay, finally. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is the third session for week 3, and today we have an amazing person in our midst. We have Boluwatife Ndidi, and she is an amazing person. I'll just give a brief about her and then we can start the session. She currently works as a legislative aide at the House of Representatives at the moment. She's a lawyer, she's passionate, she's an activist, I would say. The only lady standing who was at the National Assembly and protested. I don't know if she would want to share that story with you, but she's an amazing lady. She has worked at the National Assembly for quite a while, so she's grounded with legislative work. She's also passionate about advocacy. Our cross paths when we were both part of the Legislative Mentorship Initiative. And throughout meeting her, she's somebody who is passionate about empowering youths. She's always eager to jump on anything. We were in the same group and she would always, she's just a power-packed house. She's resilient, and I'm sure that today she's going to speak to you on leadership. And please, I would like you to pay attention and, just engage with her. So join me as we welcome Boluwatife Ndidi. We really appreciate you joining us on this session. I know it's a Sunday. I know that it's not easy. Most people want to rest on a Sunday, but she's taking out her time to come speak with us today. So we really appreciate you and we welcome you on stage. So I know that you have a presentation, so I would stop sharing so that you can share your screen. Bolu?
Thank you so much, Vera. Thank you for the flattering welcome remarks. Thank you so much. I'm flattered. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So just a minute so I can set up my slides. Okay. All right. So good evening. Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be in this wonderful company this evening. My name is Boluwatife Ndidi Asanya, and I can see Samuel, Tony, Sarah, Okelola. Yeah, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys, and I trust you're having a wonderful learning experience on this mentorship program. So I must commend Tony and Sarah. I think you're already distinguishing yourself as leaders by being punctual. So well done, guys. Well done. So let's move into, because there's so much to cover. Okay, so I'll start with this. The theme of this year's IWD, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. So which quite resonates with me because, yeah, I feel like I believe society should give women opportunities to not just survive, but to thrive, right? And many times we hear that women are underrepresented in leadership positions, politics, governance. And most times I'm like, okay, the truth is, the reality is that nobody's going to hand us what we want, what we're clamoring for, the opportunity to register our marks and contribute to society on a platter of gold. We would have to drag it or grab it, steal it, and run with it, right? So I know we cannot deny the fact that society prejudices women. Women face a lot of challenges in leadership in comparison to their male counterparts. So women face microaggression, despite the fact that most women are multi-hyphenate. We have multitasking abilities, but still they will ask us to provide evidences of our accomplishments, our successes, in a way that men are not required to. And so sometimes women have imposter syndrome because society is like, there's a benchmark that women should attain. And when you surpass that standard, you begin to question what I'm doing. Is it right? Do I even deserve this? So that makes women tend to want to be seen, but not heard. It makes us feel small, and then we retreat, we step back rather than leaning in. But regardless, we have to keep leaning in, right? So on this theme, before anybody is going to invest in you, before the world is going to invest in you, you must invest in yourself, because people would only invest in something they believe to be viable and capable of yielding results. So you young leaders, female leaders, you must continue to push yourself, influence and motivate yourself towards your goals. Limit your distractions, have a growth mindset, right? Build your knowledge, build your skills, forge the right alliances, have an inquisitive or curious mind, ask questions. Great leaders ask great questions, according to John Maxwell. So you must share your ideas confidently. You have a voice, you must use it. And then you must be resilient, because society will always come at you. Society, the challenges will always be there, but you must be resilient, embrace your strengths, your unique perspectives, and capitalize on them. And once you're prepared, the world will not have a choice than to stand behind you. So today's topic is, my topic is actually leadership. Cliche, right? Yeah. Yeah, because I know this topic is everywhere, right? But then the importance of this topic is such that it cannot be over-deliberated, over-emphasized, right? But I want us to approach it from a very unique perspective, not talking about leadership skills. I know you even possess all of that already. You're already prepared for leadership by virtue of you being selected for this program. You're already a leader. So you already possess all the management, communication, networking, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and all of that. You have all of that in you already. You're already prepared. But what we are here to do today is to amplify you, fortify you for leadership success, so that when that opportunity comes, you perform exceptionally, efficiently, and effectively, as an outstanding leader. So you would agree with me that deep within everyone, there is a leader waiting to be awakened, right? There's a leader waiting to be awakened. Maybe crisis pours that hero in you. It sparks up that leadership in you that motivates you into action. So just like this firefighter or someone that is going into this fire scene to rescue people, which is what leadership is all about. Solving problems, right? The ability to influence, motivate, and inspire people to act towards a common goal. So you would also agree with me that challenges exist everywhere. Problem, you can see this man carrying the world on his head, because problem no dey finish. So we have challenges in our families, in our homes, businesses, cities to states, states to countries, to nations, to the world, which we call international community, right? So these challenges beget purpose. That's something that needs to be done to address that problem. And that's what occasions the birth or need for leadership. So it involves, so there's a goal, work to be done, and there are processes, there are capacities, tools for you to attain that goal. So let me just depict an example using myself. In my community, I come from Enugu, though I am by tribal, you can say I'm a Nigerian half caste. I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, and partly Yoruba. So from my Igbo side, my village, we've been bedeviled with the challenge of underrepresentation over the years. So we don't have, like, there's underdevelopment or poor development. We don't even have electricity, nothing, no infrastructure. So it usually bothers me because we go home like every Christmas. So the leadership dormant in me was spurred to do something to change the narrative. So I'm like, what can I do? Then I thought, okay, politics actually gives you a platform to bring about change. So I said, okay, the legislature now came to my mind because I know they allocate constituency projects to legislators. So I'm like, okay, this is a good avenue to do something for my community, right? So I'm like, what do I need to attain that goal of bringing development, facilitating development to my people? And then I'm like, okay, I need education, I need money, I need networks for the right alliances, I need political relevance at the grassroots. So I have a background in law. So I decided, okay, let me get the legislative experience. Then let me start building my financial prowess. So I started a couple of businesses. Let me acquire social currency. And I started associating with political actors so I can learn from them. And as for being relevant, being known in my community, because politics is local. So I started an initiative with some of my uncles who were able to leverage WhatsApp. So we mobilized the youth from the community, the ones in Nigeria, in diaspora, on that platform, and we're able to raise 50 million within, I think, a year and 6 months to electrify the community that had been in darkness over the years. So that way, I've been, and also I now leverage the legislative network to attract an ultra-modern primary healthcare center in the community. So that way my people are knowing me and I'm gradually attaining my goals or achieving my goals. So what I've established or I'm trying to establish here is that there's that leadership potential. That potential to lead is in everybody. So we must not confuse leadership with authority, right? They are different. Leadership is about inspiring people, building their trust, and inspiring them to act towards your goal. While authority is because you have a particular position or office or title, and that way you're able to assign tasks, command people to get something done. So you can think of them as, okay, authority means you have a boss, he tells you to get this thing done. While leadership means there is a boss who inspires you to perform better. So many times, leaders tend to rely solely on authority, right? And they forget trust, inspiration, and the actual reason for which they are saddled with that responsibility or office of authority, which is to get the work done. Like we already established, challenges beget the need or bemoans the need for leadership. So they totally forget that and just take on that authority position. So, and this leads to leadership failures. It leads to lowered expectations, disappointments, unfulfilled promises, and woeful development. So I'd like to ask you guys, what do you really think leadership is about? What do you think leadership is about? Is it about the personal abilities and the tools? Like we already said, the skills, communication, you have the right people on your team, you have influence, you have strategic thinking and decision-making abilities, you think critically, you can manage people, or is it about getting the work done? Those challenges, those problems that exist while you were made a leader, is it about addressing those challenges or is it about the tools and the personal abilities? So I don't know. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear your opinions. Okay.
So, okay, sorry.
All right. Yes, please, Sarah. Sarah.
I think it's about personal ability.
Okay. Why do you think so?
I think before you become a leader, like you will have some ability. No, it's not everybody that can lead people like that. Some people that they can't even, as a leader, that means you are leading people, you are inspiring people. So if you have not worked on yourself very well, you can't be a leader.
True, true. Tony, do you want to say something?
She had dropped something in the chat box.
Okay.
She said leadership is serving.
Okay. So that means it's more of the serving. I don't know. Does that mean she's going for option C? Yeah. So I guess that's what she, okay, yes, she said yes.
yes.
Oh, great. Perfect. Okay. To be honest, you are both correct. You are both correct. Right? Okay. So leadership, what you said is correct. And the truth is that much attention is placed on these personal attributes, the tools, rather than the actual work to be done. So, but this, it doesn't make the personal skills as well as the tools less important. They are indispensable and essential requirements of leadership, even though they don't pertain to leadership alone. You need those skills, even in running your house, even in running your business, right? But so they are indispensable. But then I want us to redefine our concept of leadership to actually anchoring leadership on the work to be done, the problems on ground to be solved, rather than just possessing those skills. And I would tell us why. So we should begin to see leadership like an art of carpentry, where the hands and the tools don't define the craft, but the challenges do. So even though the hands and the tools are crucial, what truly matters is what you are building. Right? So because many times you see that we have leaders, people in leadership positions of authority, they're there, they have all those personal skills and the tools, the resources are at their disposal, especially in our climate here. But when it comes to tangible results on the lives of the common man, nothing. They have nothing to show for it. And that's because they are distracted. They are disoriented, right? Sorry. Yes, as if they knew we were talking about them. They just took the lights. So, you see, someone has been people have been in power over how many years? 60 something years now. No electricity to, boast about. So, rather than focusing on the work, the reason why you are in that position in the first place, it's about the skills and all of that, your educational qualifications, who does he know, how affluent is he? And that way, they forget why they're even there in the first place. And then they fail in leadership. So I want us to start anchoring leadership on the work to be done and how to actually tackle challenges, how to mobilize people to deal with tough challenges. Okay. So how do we now, beyond the tools, how do we get the job done? Since we've established that leadership is not about the skills and the tools, but getting the job done. So how do we become a leader? Because leadership is about responding to challenges, solving problems. You are there to solve problems. So how do we now get ourselves to become more equip ourselves to become more efficient leaders who can tackle challenges effectively? So the first step is that you learn to sit on the balcony. That's doing a proper diagnosis of the problem. So it's just like, okay, someone that wants to paint a house. Before you start the project, go to the balcony. It will give you a picture, the whole view of the building before you start working. So we must learn to have a balcony view of the challenges we want to tackle, right? So because when you do that, you will see the entire picture, the whole situation. You would be able to understand the nature and complexity of that problem. Why is this important? Because sometimes when you start solving a problem, you now see that this problem is deep. Like there are hidden factors, like chain of problems, deeper problems. You see that there interconnected issues, sub-barriers that you must address before you can address the bigger problem. And so when leaders are confronted with unforeseen circumstances, disruptive events, or new trends that they did, because they didn't do a proper diagnosis, they didn't spend time on the balcony to actually take themselves out of the situation and look at all corners of the problem. And now they are meeting chain or deep multiple problems inside that problem, inside that avian, another the avian there inside, yeah? So now they get stuck and they even begin to sink in those problems. So, but if you do a proper diagnosis of the problem, you see all these other smaller problems and tackle them. And in doing that, you are addressing the bigger problem. So I'll give an example. So my organization, Clyde, we started an homeschool project to provide access to solve the problem of access to education for marginalized children. That was the goal. Simple, right? Then when we started, we were faced with challenges of language barrier. Some of the children were speaking Hausa and even some languages, dialects I've never heard in my life. Some of them, we had special needs children that could not hear, which we had not prepared for. Some parents were reluctant to release their words to attend the program. And then we now had funding because there's inflation, everything you've budgeted. But in 2 weeks, your budget is not budgeting because, you know, prices change. So we're like, so we have to go back to the drawing board, now begin to identify these smaller problems that were barriers to us achieving our bigger goal. So we now said, okay, we need to engage all the actors, all the stakeholders involved. Okay, like the parents that are refusing to release their children. Let's start with the few ones we have, but let's be feeding them back on the performance of the kids. And when we started doing that, they took our project personal. They started bringing their words, making sure they are doing their assignments, and even canvassing for us to other parents. Before you know it, we had many children who were even overwhelmed. The problem of language barriers, we had to get multilingual volunteer teachers and ASL teachers, right? And then for funding, we're not like, let's re-strategize. Rather than looking to international donors, the big guys, let's look inwardly. Let's mobilize our local resources. Let's bring money, you know, maybe from our own out-of-pocket monies, and also leverage on local organizations, partner with them, people that share the same vision with us. And we did that. Then we're like, let's do documentaries that speaks to the public. And with that, we were able to raise money to fund the project. So looking at those, tackling those small problems led us to solving the bigger challenge. So that's what sitting at the balcony does. It helps you understand the problem you are really facing better. And then you'll be able to now go back and re-strategize, and you'll be able to overcome that challenge. The second step is still on diagnosis though, because I believe once a problem is identified, you properly understand the challenge, or you are halfway to solving that problem. So just like a doctor diagnoses an illness to better understand the disease, leaders need to properly dissect the challenges they are going to be solving so that they can choose the right leadership approach. So there are two main types of problems. We have the technical problem and the adaptive problem. Okay, so the technical problem is not that when they say technical, it doesn't mean it's too complex or that is important the way it's important, but it means that that challenge is within our ability to solve. We have been solving those type of problems. They are not new, and the solution, there's already know-how on how to tackle those type of challenges, right? So you already know them, and if you don't know the way to solve such problems, you have people around you that you can speak to, consult to help you. So I'll give an example. Let's think of it like someone having a flat tire. Already the symptoms show your car will not move, or it will be moving slowly or making some crack sounds, right? Now, so your symptoms are well established. The solution is also known. Either you use your jack, you remove the tire replace it with your spare tire, or you go and patch it, right? So you know the solution. So the leadership approach you employ in such a technical situation is that you do it because you know how to do it, or you direct, because leadership is about direct influencing people. So you just do what we call managerial role. You play a managerial role. Just tell people, okay, this problem I've solved this type of problem. I know how to solve this problem. Oh yeah, do this, you do this, you do that. So that's that for technical problems. Then the other type of problem is the adaptive problem. Adaptive problem, just like the name, it says it indicates or depicts that this type of problems, they change. They are new problems. They are complex. They are ambiguous. You have in fact, you don't have any idea on how, you don't even know what this problem is about. You don't even know where the problem is coming from, right? So you don't have clear choices on what to do. They are subject to change. You cannot predict. They are new. They are not your routine problems. So they usually require doing things in a new way, a different manner. So you need to experiment. You need to do continuous learning, learn new things. So if either you build on your old existing capacity or you acquire new skills to be able to deal with this type of problem. So I will explain. For instance, you're teaching someone to ride a bike, right? You have a deadline. Now, that person is not even coming to the bike classes. Or when he comes, he's not motivated. He's slow. You are doing everything to teach him. The person is not even understanding it, right? In that situation, you yourself, you'll be frustrated because you don't even know where to start solving this problem from. You don't know what's even the problem with the person. So in that situation, the symptoms, you don't know what to do. It might be that the person, because he has tried, is not getting it. He wants to give up. That's why he's not more showing up. So now you have to you can't be saying, someone you are not even saying, how will you direct? That leadership approach will not work, right? So you now have to start thinking, going back to the drawing board, why is this person behaving like this? Why is this person not getting this thing? So you now have to teach that person, okay, you have to learn how to be patient. You have to learn how to pedal gently. You have to learn balance on the bicycle. Okay, maybe the person is losing motivation. You teach the person, okay, come, give the person incentives. Come, when you come, I'll give you this so that we can meet up with our deadline. So in this type of challenges, you don't direct. What you need to do is to help them develop new capabilities, guide them, right? Another instance is you work in a software, a tech company. You people develop software products or something. You are in the sales team. So you are used to solving the technical problem of selling because you solve that problem over time, right? Now, your company introduces a new product and they now even tax you with the responsibility to increase sales, maybe 20% to the previous year's sales revenue. So now there's a new challenge, right? This is a new product. So on your own, you cannot keep doing what you have been doing before that was working. It means you now need to step back and do a new learning, which means you now need to learn and understand that new product. You now need to think of how to best market that product, to penetrate the market and capture new markets because you want to increase your revenues, right? So adaptive problem, you must learn something new. You have to do it, you have to adapt to the new situation or the unforeseen circumstance and change your way of doing things. Yes, so I don't know if we understand the distinction between the two types of problems. So many times, most people are not able to differentiate between these types of challenges. People will leaders often treat adaptive problem like a technical one, and they'll treat a technical one like an adaptive one. And it leads to leadership failures because they don't take time to actually diagnose that challenge. So it can lead to a situation where you are making a solution without involving the team. Like that sales company now, if you keep using the promotion and marketing strategies you were using for the old product, it might not work on the new one because your old customers might be reluctant to change. People are usually reluctant to change because they don't know what to expect with change. And sometimes they could occasion losses as a result of change. That's why people are resistant to change. So it might not work for you, right? So it's for you to learn news. Okay, can we remodel our advertising strategy so that it now captures, appeals to new people or even to our existing customers? So you have to do something differently. So it involves adapting, learning. While another example, when you fail to understand what type of problem, whether it's technical or adaptive, and you are using technical approach to solve adaptive problem, it means you'll be doing a quick fix, which might not address the root cause. So let me give another example. You have a farm. Now your staff has been stealing your produce. You notice someone is stealing your produce. Then you know, okay, I have my fence is short. Let me raise it, right? To you, you have solved the problem, right? But then this staff knows the in and out of your farm more than you do. So it will keep stealing. So what you should have done in that situation is to do surveillance. Find out who is stealing your produce. Then probably that person has been working with you for years and he even needs help to start his own farm, right? So, you know, that's your approach will not work. They will still be stealing your produce. So, okay. Yeah. So, when you treat, when you don't probably understand the type of problem, your approach, you use the wrong approach and it will lead to failure. Although the reality is that problems don't come black and white. They don't now label, you have a challenge, you know, they'll not label it, this one is technical, you have technical components, or this one is adaptive. And so because we're always in a rush to provide solutions to solve our problems without sitting on the balcony to actually assess or diagnose the problem, we might not be able, because sometimes you have a problem that is multifaceted, that has both technical aspects and the adaptive aspects. Just like this problem of those salespeople, there's a technical aspect, which is that they've been making sales, they know how to sell, right? There's now the adaptive problem, which is new products. Now they have to learn new methods to sell this new product. So sometimes those type of problems are called bundled work. So you now have to unbundle the program, remove the technical aspects, distinguish the adaptive aspect, and begin to now tackle the problems. Yes. So, but I assure you that if you're able to distinguish adaptive from technical problem, you will use the right leadership approach, and then the chances of your leadership success in resolving that challenge will be higher. So number 3, which is the last step, is what we call stakeholder mapping. Stakeholder mapping. So just like every good quest needs a map, leadership is not any different. Yep. So what is this stakeholder mapping? It's just a tool, like a visual representation, to identify the people who are impacted or affected, who have a stake in your project. Sorry. Okay. So who have a stake in your project? So you need to identify them. You need to also understand their interests as well as their concerns. How will they benefit from this project? How will they be negatively impacted by this project? Because and you can use this stakeholder map for any project, any program, be it a picnic, anything at all, any initiative. So it helps you to better know who your stakeholders, the people you need to carry along, the people that are instrumental to the attainment of your goals. And not just that, you need to understand what makes them happy, what makes them feel concerned. Because in doing that, you now know the strategies to deploy so that you can effectively engage them. So that's what the stakeholder map is about. Okay. Sorry. So that, okay, so I'm going to paint a scenario to better, an illustration to help us better understand what stakeholder mapping is about. So we liken it to having a neighborhood party, which you can call block party, right? Now you want your party to be talk of the town. You want it to be a blast, a hit. It means that your guests have to be happy so that they will have something to talk about at home. Then it will spread and become town gist, right? Now, stakeholder mapping is like doing a guest list, but that's not all. You need to now know what they care about, what makes them happy. Why are they even coming to your event, right? So there are two types of stakeholders, right? We'll come back to our party scenario. We have internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So the internal stakeholders are people within your organization, you know, that are involved in your project. So for instance, your team, like in our party situation, it will be you, the organizer. It would be your friends who are helping out. Maybe there's a bakery in your community that wants to donate cookies or cakes, right? Pastries to showcase their own products. Then we have the external stakeholders, who are people outside your organization that will be affected or impacted by your project. So they could include donors, your partners, the children, like in my client's case, the parents, government agencies, the community leaders. Yeah, so these are people that are affected by or impacted by your project. And in our party scenario, it will be all the residents of the neighborhood. It will be maybe police, because it's happening in a community. So there are possibilities of security threats. So the police are external stakeholders. Then also businesses around your community, people that will be affected by the traffic, by the noise and the crowd. So you have to put everybody into consideration. And okay, so here. Okay, all right. Good. So you need to carry everybody along. You need to map even their interests and their concerns, and I'll explain why. For instance, the residents in that, we are still going back to our block party or neighborhood party scenario now. The residents that are attending that your party, they're coming because maybe they want to socialize, they want to have fun, that's their interest. And then some others, their concern is security. Then maybe noise, they don't like too much music or too much crowd. So now, for you to ensure that your party is a success, you must meet their interest. What makes them happy? Why they are coming? You have to meet that. So which is, you now organize your setup in a way that the chairs, the way you arrange them, they will be able to socialize, interact amongst themselves. You now incorporate games into your program so that they will be able to socialize and achieve their goals and have fun. Then for the ones that are scared of security, you can get maybe security personnel, maybe private bouncers or something to be at your party, and that will allay their fears. Now, the bakery that has supported you with cakes, they also have their interest, which is to come and showcase their brand or to sell. So now, because you know that's their own concern, you now tell the MC, please make sure you recognize these people and help them showcase their product. You see that they will be happy. Even then, they will take that your party personal. They'll help you in organizing. They will be happy. They will be satisfied. Then, for instance, the external stakeholders, which is the police now, their own interest is security in the community, right? And ensuring there's no traffic, right? Because traffic situation is a security threat. People can come and bomb the place or something. So now, you plan yourself, because you already know their interest and their concern. You notify them ahead. You get necessary approvals. Then you might now, say they should deploy some personnel to come and guard the area. So that way, one neighbor will not go and, Badbele neighbor will not go and report to the police that this person is having party and disrupting peace in the neighborhood and constituting public nuisance. then police will come, your party, everything you have planned all your efforts will be a waste. So do you understand how, if you don't carry all the stakeholders along, consider their interests, their concerns, all your efforts might just be in futility, or it will be a roadblock. So to make everybody happy, to ensure that there are no roadblocks, you are proactive, and that way you're able to avert all the future roadblocks in your projects. And then when you actually carry them along, you see that they are happy, they'll feel valued, and they will contribute and collaborate to ensure that your program is a success. So that's why stakeholder mapping, putting into consideration, not just identifying your stakeholders now, putting in their interest, their concerns, you'll be able to effectively engage them better, address potential roadblocks, and build strong relationships. So they will not be the one even carrying your project like it's their project. And that way your project will be a success. So how you can do your stakeholder map. Number one is to identify everyone who will be impacted by your project in and out of your organization. Gather information. You should talk to them, talk to people who know them, understand their interests and their concerns. Then you create a map. You can just use that simple table format that we use, which is stakeholder, who the stakeholder is, their interest, their concern, and then how do you engage them. So, and when you do this, you now think of what's the best engagement strategy for each of the stakeholder groups. So I believe with this, we've explored the essence of leadership. We've been able to redefine the concept of leadership beyond having personal skills, abilities, the tools, which are essential, indispensable requirements in leadership, to having the ability, what you need now to tackle challenges that come with leadership. So now you know how to diagnose a problem. Beyond that, you know how to better understand the problem, because in doing that, you now know the leadership approach to apply or to deploy. So you know if it's a technical problem or if it's an adaptive problem that requires you to learn something new or mobilize people to learn something new, to adapt to that new situation and be reactive, right? And then now you know that you have to identify and consider the interest and the concerns of your stakeholders, so that way your vision or your vision, your goals becomes shared goals. And then with that done, I assure you that your project is going to be a success. And if you're able to embrace these practices, you see that you'll be fortified to become a better leader that can confront any opportunities and challenges that come your way. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please let's give Bolu a round of applause. Thank you so much. It was so short, it was concise, but it was packed with capacity. Like we always say, capacity, capacity, capacity. Thank you very much, Bolu. I mean, your session was very, very interesting for me. And one thing that I really loved about your sessions was how you broke down simple concepts. I mean, the concept of leadership always looks like something very, very complicated, but you were able to break down everything you illustrated. So the challenges that leaders face, how leaders can engage stakeholders, and you did that with simple illustrations and examples that are around us. And I mean, for me, anytime now I want to conduct a stakeholder mapping, I would always remember the block party, how if you're organizing, they're looking for stakeholder, their interests, looking for what problems would they, challenges you may have and how you can address that. So I want to say a very big thank you to you for that. And I'm sure that everybody, all the mentees feel the same way. For now, we have time for question and answer. So if anybody has any questions for Bolu, so please indicate. You can drop it in the chat box or you can just unmute your mic and ask your questions. Also, please, we also welcome comments. If you want to see some comments for Olu, I mean, this is also a time for that. So anybody? Or you can just share something that you've learned with her, just so that you give some feedback so she knows that, you know, we've been able to gain a lot from her today. So if there's anything that you want to just add, a comment, a question, you know, just speak to that and would appreciate that. So anybody? Okay. It seems that today we're able to understand everything and, you know. So Bolu, since we don't have any questions or comments from the mentees, I want to say a huge thank you to you for coming on today, for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I mean, I learned a lot from this session. Thank you very much. And I mean, I almost say in the LMI way, how we always say thank you, thank you, thank you. But I mean, I would like to, on behalf of all the mentees and the WiLG community, we want to say thank you very much for joining us in this session. And we appreciate you taking our time, you know, explaining, taking our time to work on the presentation and taking our time to be with us today to share your Sunday with us. So we want to thank you and we wish you all the best in your work at the National Assembly. And I know that you're already doing amazing things. So we are looking forward to more amazing things from you in the coming years. So thank you very much. And we appreciate you answering our call to be a mentor when we called you. So thank you very much, Bolu. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vero. Thank you. And yes, thank you guys for paying attention. And Tony, I don't know how you can reach out to me. I don't know if Vero could help out with that. I have a small token for you for, like I said, distinguishing yourself as a leader by joining this program on time. Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll share her number with you. I'll share her contact.
All right, great.
All right, thank you
Great.
very much, Bolu. I really appreciate. All right, thank you everyone for joining. We have concluded this week's session. So we'll see you again next week on Friday for another packed session. So thank you all. Have a lovely weekend and I wish you all an amazing week. Thank you.